Chairman John Radford, just bring us up to speed with the goings-on at Field Mill firstly. Are we any closer to getting back Field Mill for Mansfield Town?
No, I think it's going to be a little bit of a long process. What's actually happened at the moment, I mean, I'm very pleased with the response I've had from clubs, nearby clubs offering us to use their facilities, you know, the likes of Notts County, Alfreton, Ilkeston, Worksop and Eastwood. You know, so we've got plenty of support from other clubs. But as far as getting the ground back from Haslam, it's going to be a little bit of a longer legal process. The man says he loves the club, and then he goes and puts bolts on the gates and everything. And, you know, as far as the rental situation was concerned, you know, I was quite happy to put money in an account held by his solicitors on the outcome of the court case. It looks like it's going to proceed very shortly.
Maybe people will be asking, why wasn't the rent paid directly to him?
If someone owes you, if you feel that someone owes you a considerable amount of money, why should you keep lining their pockets with even more money? It's a case of, I wanted that money to stay within the club, and I didn't want to put in my own personal money into Mr. Haslam's pockets until we've got the situation resolved. And, you know, Keith can resolve this situation quickly by replying to the letter that we sent him, and if he's done everything correctly and he's acted good and proper, then fine. We'll hopefully he'll allow us to continue the lease and we'll pay the rent. But I'm waiting for his reply at the moment.
When do you expect a reply?
We've asked for a reply by the 9th of December.
And if none is forthcoming?
The proceedings will be issued.
Did you have any prior knowledge that a repossession of the ground by Keith Haslam could take place?
I saw the contract, the lease that was signed by my predecessors. I think they were under a bit of duress there. There was a clause in there where the landlord could repossess the ground. I thought that Keith would accept the fact that we'd put the money aside for him and would leave it in an account controlled by his solicitors in sort of trust, if you know, for the outcome of the court case, if we were to go to court. So his timing on putting a bolt on the ground, repossessing the ground could have been better. I mean, certainly if God had not been on our side and it hadn't have snowed, we'd have probably lost 3 points and had a fine from the conference. But fortunately, you know, it's not fortunate for some people, but fortunately the game was called off because of snow.
I mean, just to clarify, do you see us return to Field Mill anytime soon?
Yeah, if Mr. Haslam comes up and offers me the ground for a reasonable price, then yeah, I'll buy it off him and drop the case. But the ball's in his court now. He needs to respond to my letter. He either decides whether he wants to battle in court or whether he wants to come and say, there you go, there's a ground back, Mr. Radford, for £1.
You'd only accept it for that?
I'd look at any reasonable offer that he gave me, but the man's been unrealistic so far, so I'm not expecting him to come back with a reasonable offer. So it just depends who's got the deepest pockets when we go to court, I feel.
And who has?
Hopefully myself, but we'll see.
If he was sat, as we are now, John, knee to knee, what would you say to him?
Keith, you said that you loved the club, okay, and the club was in your heart. And why have you put bolts on the gates? Why did you take so much money out of the club?
How confident are you that the right resolution can be found for the club?
It's down to legal now. I need to see what Mr. Haslam says about the past carryings on. I mean, it might be completely legal what he did, and it might be completely illegal. It's down to what the lawyers say, I'm afraid now, guys.
Let's talk about our temporary home, prospective temporary home. As you said at the start of this interview, we're in negotiations with some clubs. 4 clubs have offered us their homes. How advanced are negotiations?
We're just talking at the moment. Steve Barker's going to visit a few of the clubs tomorrow, and hopefully we can announce certainly in the next 2 days which club will become a temporary home for us.
Which do you believe is looking the more likely, John?
I like the look of Ilkeston. It's sort of the right sort of ground for our current for our current situation. It'll allow us to get promoted to League Two, but I don't want to bar any of them out at the moment.
What things will you be taking into consideration when you are looking for a new home?
Distance. The fans are from Mansfield, and we don't want to travel too far. We don't want to be every game doesn't want to be an away game for us, and I'm sure the supporters are loyal enough to travel to places like Ilkeston or maybe Worksop, and we have had offers at the moment where that there are companies out there that will help us transport our fans from Mansfield Town Centre to our new temporary home.
Do you expect gates to be affected by the new change of home?
Yeah, gates will fall a little bit. You've got to expect that. But there'll still be the hardcore Mansfield fans going. Yeah. You can't expect, it's going to put an extra half an hour to 3/4 an hour on people's day when they're going to watching a game. So you've got to expect gates to fall a little bit. Will
we be definitely playing at a different ground come Boxing Day against Grimsby Town other than Field Mill? Is that definite?
If Keith Haslam, who says he loves the club, comes forward and says, "John, there's the keys, use the club and we'll settle this in court," that'd be fantastic. But it's looking like we'll be playing somewhere else, guys.
In terms of promotion, as you know, any conference club which wants to get back into the Football League must be in possession of a 10-year lease on their ground. How does this affect things?
Well, obviously, when we're talking to the grounds that we're interested in, we'll negotiate a lease that'll cover off the Football League requirements. It's not caused other. There's plenty of other clubs that have been in the same sort of situation. You have to look at Rotherham and people like that. So this is not an unusual thing, okay? And it's not the end of the world for Mansfield Town. Mansfield Town Football Club are a team, and it's a group of players, and it's the points and it's the field that count. Obviously, Field Mill is a home, okay, but we can survive without a home for a little while.
Is the club continuing to function properly?
Yeah, my boardroom has been turned into Mansfield Town's centre of operations. So yeah, the backroom staff are set up in my boardroom at the moment. The lines have been transferred to there. We've got complete control of all the internet and all that sort of thing. So yeah, there's no problems there. The ground staff have been given a job in helping out with my maintenance teams and everything until we get a new ground for them to look after. So yeah, the club's functioning fine. All we're doing is we're just spending a little bit of time away from Field Mill.
In the long term, John, can you see us moving away from Field Mill permanently?
I would like to say no. Field Mill's our home ground, and I'd like to keep it Field Mill. There is a bit of speculation, although I've not explored this about us building a new ground and moving, but my heart wants to stay with Field Mill and keep the town and keep the Stags at Field Mill.
But has the possibility of building a new ground crossed your mind?
It's been mentioned to me. It's not crossed my mind, but that's all that's happened so far. I do understand there are plans out there for a new ground. So, but I've not explored that at all.
Plans by whom?
Steve Milton is going to show me. I've not actually seen them, but he's promised to bring them along at our next meeting and show me the plans for the new ground. I believe it's on the bypass out towards Rainworth that way.
But who has set this up? Who's drawn up these plans?
Honestly, I've not. You have to speak to Steve Milton on that, but I know the plans exist.
Is this something you entertain?
I'm not saying no to anything, but at the moment, let's work on getting Field Mill back, and to get Field Mill back, that might take a year. So I'm not gonna put anything to one side.
Okay, maybe more on that as it develops. Very interesting there. Your pocket's starting to feel the pinch because there's no income coming in at the minute.
Yeah, I'm surviving. There's no. Fortunately, the one call route's been doing really well, so yeah, it's not hurting. And yeah, I'm going to go over my budget. I said $500,000, but I'm going to burn a bit more than that this year, I think.
Personally, for you, have you been affected by the recent events at all?
Yeah, I've got a cold sore. No, I'm enjoying. I'm loving every minute of it. It's. I did get warned it'd sort of be a labour of love, and yeah, It's a very expensive lady to look after, but I'm enjoying it.
Just a final few questions now, John. What would you say to the supporters?
As I've always said, thank you very much for your help and your support and your encouragement. I appreciate all the sort of words of support and things that are being said at the moment. It's fantastic, and I will do my best to get this Haslam area. I'll bring this Haslam area to a total end and get him. I'm saying this about this Haslam, but he could turn out to be a good guy and give us our ground back. But we'll see. But I want to get the area I want to bring it to an end.
Let's move on to a different matter now. A few questions on this. A few final questions. Equally as important, you might say, the new manager. How close are we to appointing a successor to David Holdsworth, John?
I know who it is in my head now, so but I'm not going to announce it today. There's enough going on at the club at the moment. Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday?
Next Tuesday, yeah.
Why would you decide to wait a week before announcing such news if you know who it is in your head?
The weather's causes a lot of problems and put me back by a week on the announcements. And there's a few things happening, just a few little signatures that need to be sorted, and so next Tuesday.
Definitely?
Yeah.
I appreciate that you won't tell me who it is, but how have you come to the decision to appoint this guy?
We've interviewed quite a few managers, and I've had the help of Andrew Saunders, Steve Middleton and Steve Hymas. They've helped with the interviews along with Steve Barker, and we've sort of shortlisted it, and I've just actually come out of a meeting with them today, and we pretty much think we've bottomed it. There's just one little factor that we need to just sort out, and so that's why I want to leave it till next Tuesday.
Plenty of time to change your mind.
Yeah, a week's a long time in politics. It must be a long, long time in football, especially in my career as a chairman. 2 months and everything seems to have kicked off, so I don't think I'm going to change my mind now.
Could I be surprised by the name which you'll tell me on Tuesday?
No comment.
Has the process then been delayed by recent events?
Yeah. Snow and Haslam, there you go, yeah.
I'm just going to dig a little bit more, if I may. What are the qualities of this man, this new manager?
I think I'm going to let you wait until next Tuesday, Mark. Digging away at frozen ground at the moment. I'm not going to tell you anything more than next Tuesday now.
I'll have sleepless nights. I wait with great interest, and I'm sure I speak on behalf of my colleagues, the players, supporters, and our whole town when I say that we are united behind you in relation to a positive outcome on the ground front, and also in the hope that you appoint the right manager. Chairman John Radford, thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you very much.